Hi there, everyone. Good evening. It's 7:32 over here in Denver, Colorado. I said I wasn't going to do this the week after my first week, but um, here we are again. So thank you for so much for joining me. I'm watching the chat over here down at the side. I've learned my lesson. Now, a lot of you I see in the chat have returned from last week, so I feel really honored that you're back after all the mishaps. And I'm essentially just trying to test out the setup here, learning some new things along the way. And hopefully, now you have my audio. I'm going to watch a little bit. I won't say too much. Um, so hopefully you all are getting audio. Please let me know if I'm just waving my hands in the screen. But yeah, like I said, I'm so glad so many of you have joined again from last week. And before I get into any crafting, I do have a little... You must keep doing lives. I will try. I will try. Okay, okay. I can see that you hear me. Yep. Thank you. Good. Oh, hi, Mindy again. um, so yeah, I don't have a plan for today's live. I know what I'm going to use, but I have no idea what I'm going to make. The sort of uh, look I'm going for. I don't know. I'm inspired by something, but we'll see how it turns out. So before I get into the live, though, I do have a few housekeeping things. A few things have come up in my inbox that I do want to share with you all. So there is a new class over at Altenew Academy, right over here. It's called Heartfelt Moments, Cards for Life's Milestones, and it's with certain educators, so Walter, Donna, Bridget, and my friend Bridget and Aditi. And I'm hosting a live session to supplement the pre-recorded sessions that they're teaching. There is an early bird special going on for the class pass with the kit, and I'll show you the contents of the kit in just a moment. But if you use this code right here, moments, in the cart, then in addition to the, I think it's MSRP 159, it's right now discounted to about 139. I think I'd have to look again. But if you put in this code moments right here, you'll get it for 99. So it's the class, my live session, access to my live session, as well as the kit. So I've got that linked in the description box below. Hopefully you all are able to see that. Okay. Good. Thank you for confirming that you can hear me. I was just blabbering on for like 5 minutes last time. It was embarrassing. But anyway, so in addition to the early bird special, today is the last day for this free gift. So August 13th today. While supplies last, I'm not sure if they still have the bone folder going. But if you don't have the bone folder, if you do sign up for the class, you do get this free bone folder. There's no code needed for this one. So when I tested this on my own carts, I was able to add the class, use the discount code moments, and then this free gift automatically showed up. So there are other gifts that you can attain if you decide to purchase more through the Altenew website. But doing these two things, you at least get a freebie with everything that you purchase today. So again, last day for this free bone folder. Sorry, and then there are other free items that you can get today as well. If you decide not to do the class pass, the kit that comes with the class, there are other free items that you can attain as well. I lost the email. I was gonna pull it up before I went live, but I forgot to. Let me just see real quick. I don't want to spend too much time looking at all this stuff, but because I know we want to get crafting and I don't want to take too much of your time. Let's see what they had. Oh yeah, it was a flash sale. So it looks like there's $15 off on orders over 99, but you do have to use a code for that one. So maybe you're not interested in the class, the Heartfelt Moments class today. Here's that discount code again, by the way. If you use Flash 15, you can get $15 off for the flash sale, and that goes until tomorrow, 11:59. I'm assuming Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, that's all I've had for housekeeping things. I think. Oh, the kit. Let me switch down to the overhead camera. Move this out of the way. And let me just, I'm going to fiddle around a little bit. I just want to make sure that my audio is still active when I switch these views. And bring up your guys' chat again. When is the class? Oh, I meant to write that down. I am so sorry. let me let me tell you right now when the class is. My bad. Altenew. It is in September. Now, if you haven't been to Altenew Academy, all of these classes are pre-recorded. So as long as you have an Altenew Academy account, these classes are continuously accessible for you. If you catch, my live will also be pre-recorded, and I'll have like a guide that you will craft along with if you do decide to purchase the kit. But otherwise, yeah, if you don't catch you, it's at your own pace. So even if you don't catch it at the time that we classes post, you can still always join in later. Heartfelt moments. The class is. Tell me when the class is. All classes are available every night at 12 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time starting September 15th, 2025. So again, September 15th, 2025. I do have that linked in the description box. I just went directly to the listing for the class. So that's when you'll find when the class is good. Okay. Was that all? Let me just scroll through, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, thank you, Geraldine. Yeah, just copy and paste. Hi, Miss Dana again. Thank you for joining me, and thank you everybody for joining me again this week. Why would I not be back, Geraldine? Because I don't know. I don't want to overcommit, and these are hard. The people who do this all the time, like I know Kathy Zilski went live at noon today. It's a lot, you guys. It's a lot. Reading the comments, moderating, taking care of all the camera angles, not sweating this time. I have my fan out of view this time, so we're not going to have that happen this time. I'm going to be nice and cool for today's crafting. And then I think my live is September 19th, I think. I'll announce it on Instagram. Don't quote me on that. But yes, I'll recap that at the end. Again, it's in the description box. Let's get crafting. After I show you the kit. So here's the contents of the kit. This is the Nesting Circles die set. Again, Heartfelt Moments kit. So these are currently exclusive to the kit. They're not available separately, so you'll have to get the class pass and the class kit to get what you're seeing right now. Nesting Circles die set, beautiful. So the dies range from 1/4 inch to 4 1/4. So A2 sides width on that. The Garden Friend die set and its coordinating stamp set. So this is part of the Mini Delight. I love this because, you know, the little chipmunk, he's a little easy to cut out, and then you can surround him with the beautiful die cut foliage and the little acorns, or yeah, acorns at the bottom. I love this one, Cozy Sweater 3D embossing folder. I'm a knitter myself, and I swear I've knitted a pattern like this from Ravelry. Nice little cables all through here, garter stitch, you know, all the good knitting stuff. I love this folder. Perfect for fall as we transition here in the Northern Hemisphere. So, and then Majestic Maple Tree layering die set. It features the innovative keyhole alignment system. So if you have any difficulty, these shapes are sort of amorphous, you know, as you look through, but right there, arrow, arrow, and there's an arrow there, and there's a little piece that actually covers the alignment guide. It's so easy. There's the layering guide on the back. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the, oh, by the way, Walter, Donna, of course, Miss Bridget, and Aditi, they're all Altenew certified educators. So, you know, you're getting really top tier quality when it comes to teaching, because we're all, including myself, I'm Altenew certified. So we have exciting content for you. When is the live session? Lucy, I think it's September 19th. I told Bridget my availability, and then I was so excited. I told her a day, September 19th, I think. Don't quote me on that. We'll announce it for sure. So, alrighty. So that's the kit. Again, Heartfelt Moments in the description box. I'll put these away. For now, this is not what I'm making today. Not this embossing folder, at least. What I decided to use again is from the August 2025 release from Altenew. I haven't had a chance to make a lot of projects with the release, even though I said I would. My bad. So we're going to use Wanderlust 3D embossing folder, and I've already got it in my, what size is this? In my 6.5 by 8.5 storage pocket here. So these are great. I used this last week when I made this card with Rose Reverie. So thank you all for joining me for this one. I've posted this video on here. It's still available, the pre-recording and all of that. And I've posted the final card over on my Instagram. So thank you for joining me on this one. It was scary, y'all. It was scary to go live with this one. So anyway, I used that pocket, that stamp set fits in that pocket here. So great versatility with these pockets for those of you who like to stay organized like me. And this will be the main focus of my project today. Hopefully I can get this done in about an hour and a half, just like last time. But again, I don't want to take too much of y'all's time. It's late. It's going to be late for me. So yeah, I'm actually going to put this aside for now. What I did cut ahead of time is a panel of 5.5 by 8.5, so I cut it width-wise. And I'll show you why I like to do embossed projects with a larger panel, a panel that's significantly larger than my embossing folder. And aside from that, I'm not sure if I'm going to use the Mini Delight Enjoy the Flight. This has like a sky stamped background as well as a die set that cuts the airplane. Let me pull out an example. Oh, I have a sample. Hold on. This is the card I made with Mini Delight Enjoy the Flight. So I kind of wanted like a sunrise and sunset, you know, sort of like a red eye sort of feeling for this card, and just to give a little bit of symmetry and interest to this background. And then I die cut my little airplane using the die set that's in the Mini Delight. So yeah, just really simple on this one. Just a quick sample. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to use this one, but this is also part of the August 2025 release. Okay. So where am I going to start? Oh, and I also pulled this out just quickly. I wasn't sure, you know. This is another subscription service. This is bi-monthly from Altenew, Stencil Art Strong Oak. This came out maybe April, maybe March. I know I was in Creativation when I saw this on the stand, and it was like the highlight of that time. And this one cuts a nice layering image just like this shown here. I do have the add-on die. It typically doesn't come with a die, it's just a stencil set. But the add-on die cuts out the outline for this oak image as well as some coordinating sentiments. So I might start with this one. Let's just try and see what happens. And I'm going to start on that 5.5 by 8.5 inch white cardstock panel. This is a thin cardstock panel. I use 80-pound Nina Solar White for embossing. I don't like to use my cover cardstock, the 110-pound. I feel like the 80-pound is much more forgiving when it comes to embossing. So I'm going to take out my sticky matte grid to hold everything together. I don't know why my chat is not on this screen. I have to look down here. If you keep seeing me look down to the corner, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm keeping up with you all. Stencil die is sold out. Sharon, which one? Is it the stencil art? My bad. If it is the stencil art, let me just look real quick, then I won't use it. I just want to, if you do recreate this card, I want to be able to make sure that it's something in your stash or something that you're able to get. Strong Oak. My internet is so slow, probably because I'm trying to stream and do this at the same time. So interesting, the die set is available, and then the stencil art is available, but then they're not available as a bundle. Um, I don't know what's going on there. I won't use, I'll use the stencil. I won't use the die set. I just have it packaged together in my little Altenew sleeve here. So hopefully that's okay for those of you who do decide to pick it up today. But really, let me walk you through the thought process I'm having here. So in this Wanderlust embossing folder, I was thinking of something like a passport page, and when I was looking through mine, I noticed like there were various scenes right in the background. So here's the embossing folder. I wanted something that was sort of like behind all of this, that wasn't so hard to make, right? So I thought the strong oak background was going to be a nice complement and a nice scene for this stamped 3D embossing folder to look great on top of, but something that wasn't too distracting. You know, I don't want to put all this effort into the background if all that's going to happen is I'm going to cover this up. So yeah, the bundle is sold out. We'll just give it a try. But yeah, that's my thought process on that. Just a really quick, simple background to work with on this. So what I'm going to do first, even before I do the stencil art, is apply a base color. As I was flipping through my passport pages, right, it's sort of like, it's always like blue, right? And then there's like other really muted tones, and it's not very vibrant, right? Which makes sense because it's like, that's where you put all your visas on top. So I'm thinking, let me look in my blue pages here. Looking for something soft. Do we like that? Misty morning. And by the way, I showed this last time, this swatch book. I made this. Altenew does not sell this. It's just easier for me to organize all my colors in this way. Because I like to color match and hold things up to objects, especially when I'm like taking photos of flowers, just so I get true palettes. So I think I'm gonna stick with Tranquility, and I'm grabbing Misty Morning. And a large ink blending tool. And I'm just going to apply a quick wash of this color. Hopefully it shows up on camera. And by the way, thank you everybody for joining me again for the second week. You know, I don't want to overcommit and say that I'm going to do this next week, but because I have waves, right? You have waves with when you're like busy and it's like, what else could I be doing? And then the second I try to overcommit, it just seems like that's not happening, right? There we go. Miss Dana Joy, I do love Misty Morning as well. Tranquility, the whole set from Tranquility was one of my favorites when it came out as the Fresh Dye ink set. I think it was Tranquility, Sugar Plums, and whatever the yellow one was. Fall something. I'll look in a second. I think I might end up using some of that color anyway. Really, I'm trying to get a base color of Misty Morning as sort of like my page book. I could use a cardstock if I wanted to, but I kind of want to have a little bit more control of where these colors are going, and I also want a little bit more vibrancy with anything that I layer on top of this. So that's why I'm using white cardstock. And I don't care that it's really splotchy again, because we're going to cover this all up with the embossing folder. I've learned a lot of things from last live, so I have my chat off here too on a different computer, like on my laptop here, because, you know, we're not going to put it in the universe because Mercury is no longer in retrograde. But if I do freeze again, at least I can hop in the chat real quick and we can get everything restarted. But that was one lesson I learned from that. I made sure that my audio assets are good. So hopefully everything went good. I had a little singing bowl intro at the beginning. Were you all able to hear that? Can you let me know in the chat? That's one thing I changed from last time. What else did I do? I think that was really it. The most important thing was my chat off to the side because I had to jump on my phone real quick to message you all that I had done froze. So I think I'll leave that there with. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Erica and Heather. I recorded that singing bowl intro, by the way. I have 2 singing bowls. And it just felt weird that y'all were sitting in silence for 2 minutes. So I grabbed those back out and I just recorded a little bit of meditation sounds, some ambient sounds. So that was Misty Morning. What color do I want? Was it yellow? Oh, I hope I'm not showing you colors that aren't out yet. Fall Harvest. It was Fall Harvest that also came out with Tranquility and Sugar Plums. It was those 3 in the Fresh Dye ink set. So I'm thinking Butternut might actually... Let's try that. What's the worst that could happen, right? If I don't like it, then we just start over. Butternut, where are you? That's buttercream. I lost it. Oh, found it. Butternut, right there. And I'm just applying a slight wash of this. And I'm overcompensating for the size of my cardstock panel. So if I want to, I can just quickly make sure that I've got enough coverage on a card front, and I surely do. Goodness. And that's good. So now I have a base of that. And then now I have a background of a bluish ink, and I think I can layer some yellows on top and some greens to just create an interesting scene real quick with just the tree portion. So I'm there, hold on just a second. There is like a grass layer. Looks like it's on stencil layers number 4 and 5. I'm not going to worry about this for this scene. I just want the tree or the oak. Can't get it out. Hold on. I do, Wendy. I like that it's a nice one-handed motion. She said I like that the ink pads stick to the mat. It's just nice to like throw them down and then use my one hand to twist off the lid. I do have the ink stand from Brienne Loveland, I think is her name. Those are great too if you don't have the sticky mat grid. So let's see, I will start, oops, sorry about that. Ooh, blurry. We'll start with layer number 1. And I kind of don't want it to be like right in the center of my card. So I'm just gonna, I don't know, there looks good. And we can always reduce it and trim and crop however we want on the final card. I think I'll need some tape to hold this down. This is Altenews satin masking tape. It's just a temporary tack tape. And especially when I'm laying like this tape on top of wet ink, I know this ink isn't dry yet, I do try to take off a lot of the tack by rubbing it on my skin, so that when I remove this tape, I don't peel off the layers of cardstock. If you've made the mistake, you know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, like, that's why I do that. Preventative measures. Let me look at the layering guide for this one. What did they use? Frayed leaf, forest glades, evergreen. I think I want more of a yellowy green for mine. So I'm gonna throw in Honeydew Glow, Antique Olive, and Olave, which are in, let me just make sure. I wish I had these memorized, I don't. Mediterranean Glow. So Honeydew, Antique Olive, and Olave. Yeah, that's gonna work. And I don't want this to overtake the stamps on the embossing folder either. So I'm gonna build this pretty lightly with another large ink blending tool. And I'm applying a light halo of this. Again, this is Honeydew Glow all around the outside. Do we like that? Let's see what this looks like, if this is enough ink. Ooh, I kind of like that. Okay, we're going to leave that alone before I do too much. So that's stencil layer number 1. Let's move on to number 2. And you're going to see my head just a moment. I'm just trying to get this aligned. Even though the outline on this is really light, I still can kind of see through. I'm looking for reference points on the image to make sure that this is completely aligned. Okay, that was Honeydew Glow. Moving down to Antique Olive. And again, I don't want this scene, this strong oak scene, to overtake the embossing folder that I'll use on top. So I'm trying not to apply such a heavy layer of this on top and through the stencils. And my main source of inspiration on this is literally a passport page. I just kind of want that feeling of like Wanderlust and like a travel visa sort of thing. Hopefully we got this right. Here's the reveal. Amazing. Okay, love that. Should I do the third layer? We'll do the third layer. Moving down, stencil layer number 3. And I don't have this linked in the description box, but it's called Stencil Art Strong Oak. the bundle is not available, but for some reason you can get the die and the stencil. I am going to just focus on the stencil for this one, but I do have both, and I did show them earlier. Is that aligned? Let me look up here. The pressure to get this perfect. Bam, with the satin masking tape. And Olaf. Gonna switch ink blending tools. Olaf for a moment was an exclusive color. Was it a secret? I think I did a secret garden retreat, and this was part of the set. So, but I know it's available obviously now in Mediterranean Garden. And I don't want to go too heavy on this color. I already noticed that it's kind of already standing out, so I don't want to do too much there. What do we look like? Okay, I think that's just right. And then we'll do the tree trunk, which starts on stencil layer number 4. So there is a grassy scene on here. Again, I'm not going to worry about that for this card. So we will just do that layer. And I'm aligning the opening of the trunk to the opening that exists from stencil layers number 1 through 3. What do I want for the trunk? I think I used butternut and pumpkin pie, yellow ochre from the fall harvest inked for this bottom portion. So I'll use that again just for a nice tone on tone feel. And so that I'm not grabbing so many products. So butternut. Another mini ink or another large ink blending tool just to make it easy to throw down this color. Just check real quick. Okay, I think that's going to be okay once we apply the other colors. Here's stencil layer number 5. It's the next detail layer for the tree trunk. Butternut, and then it's going to be pumpkin pie. Or is that too yellow? Well, we'll see what happens. Pumpkin pie with another large ink blending tool. Have my brown family here. Oops. I recognize a few of your names on the chat here, so thank you so much for joining me again this week. Maybe we'll do like sort of like an unfinished scene to this. So I did pumpkin pie on this one, and I'm not going to go all the way down on the trunk just to give it that sort of a hazy feeling to this scene. because again, a lot of this is going to get obstructed or covered by the embossing folder. So pumpkin pie. Then we'll go down to yellow ochre. And the last stencil layer. So stencil layer number 6. This one does have little details that are hidden amongst the foliage up here on the crown of the tree. And then I'll bring that down as sort of a halo so that you don't really see the base of the trunk. What white cardstock do I prefer? I've been using Nina Solar White 80 pound for honestly for a long time. I haven't really switched it up at all. The only thing I did switch up was I used the 110 pound for my card bases. And sometimes if I'm doing, if I like to glue things to a card panel, then I'll use a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel of 110 pound Nina Solar White. So I haven't really tried the, I think I've heard about the Hammer Mill one. I just haven't tried it yet because I use this cardstock for all my Altenew artist markers, my colored pencils, ink, of course, die cutting. It just hasn't failed me, so I haven't really felt the need to find anything else. And then it's like you have to commit to a whole ream. So I don't want to be disappointed. I'm sure the Hammer Mill one is nice. I just haven't tried it myself. I'm just kind of stuck in this scene, right? So 80 pound paper. That's right, Wendy. That's what I'm ink blending on right now. So that's the reveal of Stencil Art Strong Oak. I just did the tree on this one. There is a grassy element that you could add to the bottom, but I don't feel like adding it for this card. I kind of want the focus to be this greenery. So let's see what I'm going to do with this one. Let me just set aside my stencils real quick. Give some room for the embossing folder. And put these away. I think that's what I heard was the Hammer Mill one is good for foiling, but again, I've also used this one for foiling. Yeah, I might have to add a few shims, and every plate is different, and I use the Spellbinders Glimmer system with the thin green shim, this one. And then this is me and just trying to be like resourceful. I folded like a paper towel in half, and this gives me just like that extra bit of a shim to put in between the thin shim and the spacer pad. So I don't foil a lot. I don't know. If I do, I use the Better Press plates because they're fabulous for that. So, okay. Let me just scroll through the comments real quick. Make sure I'm not missing your questions. Hello again, everyone. Oh, thank you so much for joining me. So we're at 8:11 my time, so it's been about an hour, or almost an hour. What is that, 45 minutes? My goodness. Let me think about this a little bit. So I've got my little passport background scene. Now I want to add the little visas, right? The little stamps that go on top whenever you go through customs. And what will that look like on here? Let me just get the embossing folder out. And I'm going to just slightly, my die cutting machine is right here, so I just don't want to be out of the frame too much. But This is the embossing folder, 6x6, of course, embossing folder. I use the Spellbinders system, and I have the A, D adapter plate, and C, and I think that's all you need for these embossing folders for this. It's been a moment since I used one, but we're going to try it out, and then I'm going to let you know which ones I'm using. So let me get this off of my sticky mat grid for now. And we are going to emboss this. So like I mentioned, I know I overcompensated for this image, but the reason why I make a larger panel is because as you emboss, you know, like especially if you emboss a pre-cut panel, a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel, it puckers, right? And so your paper shrinks just slightly, and it's just not a perfect quality for me. I mean, it's great, like, you know, for at-home projects or for quick cards. But when I'm trying to take like project photos, like I try to think about these things like the paper's going to pucker, and especially for really geometric designs, like the paper will shrink, so then it won't fit on your folded note card bases. So this is how I accommodate it, and I get to experiment with a lot of different layouts this way. So I'm using like, I'm looking through the embossing folder just to see where I want to trim this down and frame my main elements. And I also want to make sure I'm not hiding too much, right? I put all this effort into putting in the strong oak background. So I might as well try to make some elements of it shine through. So as I'm looking here, I'm thinking this is a nice trim for the panel itself. And of course, obviously this is not going to fit in my embossing folder. So I'm just going to mark it with a pencil and then trim that down slightly using my paper trimmer. So I want to frame this portion here. I haven't decided on the width yet, but I can once it's all embossed, right? Because again, it's going to pucker, it's going to shrink. So once I'm happy with the embossed panel itself, then I can trim it down to the size that I want, 4 1/4 by 5.5, just so that it fits on my cardstock base. One last look at the comments here. Sorry, I don't want you all to get the gulping sounds. Thank you, Vicky. Yeah, I haven't really posted to my channel a lot. I used to post a lot of my personal videos back in 2019, 2020. And then, I joined the Alta New Design team. They took a lot of my personal right posting sessions, but I do post a lot on their channel, which is a great opportunity with my perfect pairing series. But yeah, I just wanted to experiment with the live format. I do miss the interactivity. I really only went live or taught pre-recorded sessions once a year with Alta New Secret Garden, and then of course I've joined many of my favorites here in the comments. Miss Dana Joy, Mindy, Kathy joined last time. We were all camp counselors at Concord and Ninth, and those were really the only like interactive events that I did. So I was hoping that lives would get that opportunity to really talk to you all again and interact, because it's fun. It's fun to stay engaged and to see what everybody's up to, and also get to get a different perspective as well. Okay. So let me just bring the plates over here real quick. So I'm following the A platform base, the platform top. Oh, I did not cut this yet. Hold on. Again, I'm trimming this down to slightly larger than 6x6. Or I guess it's really 5.5 by 6 inches roughly. Just like that. So it's still pretty big, but it'll fit inside the embossing folder. So I can play around with different orientations, as I keep mentioning. I think that's perfect because I kind of like that this, what is the name of the stamp that they do? I'm just gonna call it a Visa, that might be wrong. I like that this stamp like kind of covers the trunk, it kind of draws your eyes to that. There's still some open feeling throughout the foliage and all of that. Yeah, let's just work with that and see what happens. So A, B, and then I need my C plate on top of this. If you use the Spellbinders 3D embossing folders, your sandwich is different, which is this one down here. So A and then the D plate, which is not either of these. I think, right? We're gonna try this. I think this is how we do it. It has been a minute. I know many people like to spray their cardstocks before running them through their embossing folders. I don't. I with the Nina Solar White 80 pound, and if I'm ink blending on top, I find that I don't need to mist the cardstock because the cardstock is already sort of saturated from the ink. Okay, sorry, I saw a few comments come through. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Then we'll reveal this. This is such a fun embossing folder. I am, sorry, I'm a little shocked. I didn't think it was gonna be so detailed, especially for the first run. That is so cool. Okay, let me do it one more time. Or should I try something? Let me do a little bit of letterpress inking, and I'm going to switch over to, I want a little bit more control as to where I'm going to apply this ink. So I haven't used my, I just grabbed the first blue set that I could find. These are the crisp dye inks. It doesn't matter the formula. You can, if you have the fresh dye inks, you can certainly use those as well. But I just want the smaller format of ink pad. And I want a little bit of tone on tone, and I want a little bit of a halo so that these visas or these stamps, the stamped images on the embossing folder show up a little bit better. Let me get rid of the platform so you can see better. I'm sort of thinking like of creating like a slight little halo of blue on the embossing folder. So I'm doing all my inking now on the text side of the embossing folder so that you'll see the result in just a moment. But this is Icy Water from Northern Shore, crisp dye ink. Is there a fresh dye ink equivalent? I'm not seeing it. Okay, that's all right. Anyway, I'm just looking for another tone on tone blue. And I'm applying this directly to the flat side, the text side of the embossing folder so that I capture the background and not the high points. I'm not quite ready for that yet. And I'm using this as sort of like a letterpress. And then I'm seeing that it's like, I don't know if you all can see that. If I hold it there, you can kind of see like the impressions of the ink pad. I'm just going to use a little bit of paper towel or a microfiber cloth just to blur that line. And you know, I kind of want this to look a little bit well traveled, so if I get a little bit of weird stuff happening, then it's supposed to look like a passport page, right? Oh, I didn't even explain. So after I applied the ink, I made sure that my panel is still locked on the non-text side of my embossing folder. So you'll see it's not really moving there. And then I'm gonna gently close where I applied the ink on top of the embossing folder. And then I'm gonna run this through my die cutting machine again. So, where's my plate? There it is. Okay. Kind of like that we've got some interesting texture off to the side here. I'm going to add another layer of this just to deepen it a little bit. And yeah, I think that's going to look fun. Again, with the microfiber cloth, I'm just trying to diffuse some of those edges that I got. The sound is going in and out. Oh, shoot. It might be because, is it only when I'm over at the embossing or at my die cutting machine? I think it's because my fan is down on the floor and it might be picking up on my lav. Let me know once I stand over here if it cuts out while I'm talking. That might be it. I'll try not to say anything while I'm over there. So just real quick, I'm going to emboss this. My sound is cutting out. Am I still? It's cutting out everywhere. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Let me just mute this real quick. I gave it a little reset. Let's see if that fixes anything. I don't know. It's like you weren't acting up earlier. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. I guess that's just sort of what I have to embrace with these lives. Okay. So now I've got this. And I love all the visas, all the stamps that are around it. But I kind of wanted it to match like the passport feeling, right, of the whole thing. So I'm looking for like a reddish ink from my small ink pads. This is good enough. What is this? Martian Terrain. Is there an equivalent of this one in the fresh dye inks? Pastel Sunrise, Canyon Clay, Burnt Red, and Mahogany Bark. Yeah, so this is still out in the fresh dye ink line. And I am going to carefully catch the high points with some direct-to-ink applications of this ink pad, just to catch and accentuate these stamps on the embossing folder. And I'm doing this randomly. I'm going to apply a different color if I decide to elsewhere. One of the things that I got asked a lot when I first started crafting was like, how do you make masculine cards? And I guess I've never really, you know, thought masculine, feminine cards. I like flower cards. It's just like what I like to make. You know, so if this is a good idea for a more masculine theme, this is an idea for you to use the Wanderlust embossing folder and sort of create like a travel theme. Because I think we always get kind of stuck on like sports, tools, right? Those masculine themes, but travel is always fun, you know? Let's see. I'm using canyon clay to catch these high points randomly on the stamps just to accentuate them a little bit. And I'm not pressing this ink, it's more like a brush and sort of build the color so I don't accidentally like create strokes on the strong oak panel itself and on the background. But the intent is to make it look like a well-traveled passport, right? So whatever happens is going to happen. And it is what it is. I think it's just YouTube. I hope it's just YouTube. I really appreciate you sticking around and trying to figure out the sound deal because I don't know what to do. I'm looking at my receiver for the audio and my lav seems to be charged just right, so it scares me to do that on range images. I agree with you, especially since we put a lot of this effort into embossing, but just slowly, and if you've got a little bit more control with a small ink pad just like this, the mini ink cubes from Altenew in the fresh dye ink formula or the crisp dye inks, just gotta take it with some time. But I do like to do the opposite, like where I apply ink onto the text side of the embossing folder, just so that you get a little bit of texture, just like here. I'm deepening some of the stamps using burnt red. I just feel like it's going to add a little bit of that official documentation feel. How's that look? Let me use a little bit of blue on top of this. This is from Northern Shore still. I'm just grabbing Arctic Mountain to put on top of some of these other images. Oops. Oh well. I just don't know what sentiment to put on top of this. I was thinking from the die set to use the Sending Love, but I'll have to look in my stash to see what would really complement the scene. There's obviously a lot going on, so I want a sentiment that's sort of really going to stand out or create some clear distinction on this. But let me get this New Delhi stamp down here. And this one. It seems like the audio issues have resolved. Goodness. Okay. So I kind of, again, I estimated I didn't do anything on this side because I know I'm going to trim this panel down. And obviously there's a lot of excess on the top and the bottom. So I'm using my Altenew cutting mat and the A2 alignment guide here to just visually see if I need to apply any more ink. I just think this one needs a little bit more. This one doesn't have any. I did see the samples from the other designers and I thought they were stunning. Aram had one where she, I think it was Aram, she like ripped a portion of this and created a nice little gold highlight. Stunning. Gorgeous, of course. Whatever she makes is going to be just beautiful. Let's see. Do we like that? Should we stop before I make a mistake? Just a little bit down here. Okay. Giving passport vibes, right? Now, I'm going to trim this down. So I have a little bit of overhang on the top and on the bottom, because again, this is much larger than a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch panel. I think this will be my right edge. And so then I'll trim this down to 4 1/4 wide. So stop it at this edge. So I'm going to go back to my paper trimmer back here. And now, if I didn't do this, if I did this on a pre-cut panel, like I mentioned, it would pucker, right? Because, you know, as you're running these through your embossing folder, you're pulling and pushing up certain elements of your cardstock. But at least this way you can control the size much better, and it fits much better on your cardstock panel. Even though this background is really busy, I feel like I can still see the tree background. As well as the stamps that go over it for that passport page feeling. What sentiment do I want? I don't even know. What can I even look for? Let's look at my stash. I thought I remember seeing some in my mini delights that were nice. Or do I have anything already cut? I just also want to make sure I'm not showing anything I'm not supposed to. Or where's my Better Press stuff? So I recently, all of this behind me is fairly new. I don't remember where I put everything. So oh wait, do I like this one? Y'all, I should have planned this better. But I didn't know what I wanted to use. Oh, what's this one? I feel like it needs something scripty. Elegant Sayings. I'm okay with a sneaky peek. Well, Altanu would not be. If you have joined my other lives, I have accidentally shown so many things from Altanu's that wasn't released yet. I've done it twice. And I was like, I'm surprised they still asked me to come back. But I really try to make sure now I don't show anything that I'm not supposed to. Especially since, like, they're months ahead of time. So, oops, I've shown colors I wasn't supposed to yet. So, my bad. Better Press sentiments are usually my go-to. I've always got dozens already made. Yeah, Jennifer, I have the it's like the One Go press plates. I don't know where I put them behind me. I'm not gonna look for them. We're gonna be here all day if I try to look for them, and I don't want to waste y'all's time. So I don't know. I really like this scripty one. Let's just see real quick. I need them, like, there's a nice little opening in certain areas, like down here for Miss You. Or is that too much? I feel like you can't really see this one. We're gonna find out. I've already taken it out, so might as well. Is this out? Ooh, let me make sure. I hope I'm not using a discontinued item. Hold on real quick. This is Elegant Sayings. Oh, thank goodness. Well, since I'm already here, I might as well share the link with y'all. Elegant Sayings. Here you go. Do you have Altanu, You Are My Greatest Adventure sentiments? Kathy, where does that one come from? Do you know off the top of your head? I wonder if I can search the Altanu store for that. since I have the tab open. Is that the product name? I'm just searching "You Are My Greatest" and see if it'll come up. It didn't come up for me. I'm watching just to see if it'll come up. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Oh, I do have the Weekender kit. But it is a Spellbinders one. I don't know, should I use the Spellbinders one? I don't. And also, again, it's all this stuff behind me. I don't know where I put it. The Weekender kit. Yeah, I don't like this. This is not right for this one. I might just have to use the die set, y'all. I'm sorry. They came with stencil art. Because I feel like it's bold and thick. Like you'll be able to see it on top of this background more, you know? If I can find where I put it. Okay, it's over here. This is the add-on die for stencil art. Not all of the stencil arts, sorry, I should say that the stencil art does not come with a die, so the add-on die is supplemental to your subscription, which, why wouldn't you want a die set, right? Always such a good, nice looking, professional look. And the sentiment I was planning on when I first pulled the set out was "Sending Love." Where is it? Oh my god, I thought it was missing. That's gonna be so embarrassing for me. I think a bold sentiment. Yep, I agree. A colored background to the card would make this card stand out. I agree as well. So many good ideas coming through. Yeah, we're gonna do "Sending Love," and I'm just gonna cut this with again, back to the cardstock weights. I use 80-pound for things like this, like backgrounds, ink blending, coloring, all that. But then when I do stacked sentiments, then I do switch to the 110. But it depends on the sentiment die. Sometimes I can't get a nice crisp cut with sentiment dies on 110, but then it just looks so crisp on when they're stacked up on your cardstock front or card panel. Oh my goodness. Sika over at Concord and 9th did tip me off to the Anna Griffin machine. Now, oh my god, I hope they don't come for me. But I was not a fan of the color scheme, so I spray painted mine black. That's more my vibe. If you all follow me on Instagram, I'm sort of like I'm more of a black and white aesthetic kind of guy. But man, this has really saved me. Yeah, Deanna, you know, I work full time, so sometimes I just don't know what I'm making. And I thought it was more fun this way, spontaneous. Where's my little picker tool here? I do have the Altenew, I forget what they call theirs, but it's, oh, Perfect Picker. The Perfect Picker. So I'm just gonna weed these out real quick. And see what this looks like on here. Oh, that is so much better, right? It like stands out. Yeah, that's gonna be the one. Let me cut it one more time. I do want to stack this sentiment up, because you never know. I might send this card, I don't know. Full time, I'm a scientist. Oh, that's right. See, you got it. I am a scientist full time. I work at a hospital. Totally unrelated to what I do here online. But I kind of like the balance, you know, like I get to do more structured things over at work, and then this sort of came up as a strange opportunity to teach online and also create some stuff, because the trajectory of my scientist career path and the stuff that I do here online like kind of started at the same time. I was making thank you cards for like teachers at the end of my scientist program, my medtech program, and I was just making cards experimentally, not sharing them online. Then I hear Instagram had a lot of great inspiration because Pinterest was fine, but I felt like I was seeing a lot of the same projects come up over and over. But there were so many people on Instagram, and then I found out about card makers on YouTube, and then it just kind of went out of control, honestly. After 2019, like, it just, here I am. Here I am in front of all y'all. Like, in a room. I didn't think I would ever have a room of just full of stamps, but, you know, life just happens. It is what it is. Kind of just take it as it goes. And again, this is the sentiment from the Strong Oak stamp set, is what I'm using. Ooh, let's wrap this up in 15 minutes. It has been almost an hour and a half. I really appreciate you all who have tuned in this whole time. My goodness. I really appreciate it. Audio's still good, I hope, and video quality hopefully hasn't dropped. The one thing I was worried about, because I do have the chat over here to the side, and I'm checking messages as I can. I was hoping the quality didn't drop, because I'm, you know, trying to watch the live feed and also do the live feed at the same time. And I changed a few video settings just to make sure that everything was nice and clear for y'all. But as far as planned sessions go, I just haven't gotten there yet. You know, like, I was really testing out these assets, like last week, mess. I'm so glad you all stuck through that with me. But this time, yeah, it's as I get more comfortable with the setup of this, and now that I have like my intro set, now that I have all of these other elements set, hopefully we can stick to a more dedicated schedule. I'll know exactly what to craft, and you know, maybe Altitude will ask me to do certain things for them, but I don't know. And then we'll showcase different things. So yeah, because pre-recorded videos are also hard. Like, they just take a lot of time out of my day to do. As much as I like the structure of them and the voiceovers, it's just for what I like in a video, like a 15-minute video will take me about 8 to 9 hours to film. Sorry, film and edit, not just film. And then creating other assets for that, like product titles and all of that, you know. But then here live, I can just talk. And if I have an idea of what I'm going to make, then I'll link it down below. And all of that, so. I don't know, they all have their trade-offs. I'm still learning live. It's so fun. It's fun, especially interacting with you all. I think I'm just gonna glue this on here as is. Should we try a vellum sentiment? You know, I don't have a lot of vellum, honestly. That's one thing I've been meaning to buy. Let me know what your favorite vellum is, by the way. I've been using the same one from the Michelle's, we should say, for a few years. I rarely use it. Well, I use it sparingly, I should say, because I don't have a lot of it. And I feel like when you have a lot of it, then you want to use it all. And then at the last like page, then I really try to save it, right? Anyway. But yeah, let me know what vellums you're using. I'd like to know, because I need some. And where you get it from, please. While I apply glue to the back of this. Right there. That looks good. that straight. It's as good as it's gonna get. So, I think that's good, y'all. What do you think? So, for those of you joining later, I used the Wanderlust 3D embossing folder. This is new from Altenew 2025. I used the Stencil art layering stencil set. It's a subscription service, but you can still buy them as a standalone piece. You just don't get the discount from subscribing. But really, this was the main focus. I was trying to think of something more like a passport page with all of the stamps on it, but then there's like a scene in the background that's sort of, I don't know, passport page. And then I kind of wanted that weathered look, right? Something that you've had well traveled. And then I was really trying to find like a good sentiment, but some of you have mentioned like the sending piece, like sending, you know, stamps or whatever. So I think the sending love from Stencil art, the add-on die set, is just the perfect addition to this. And yeah, that's the finished card. Thank you for joining me. And if you're joining late, I did have some housekeeping things at the beginning. This is one of the last times to, there is an early bird special for a live session that I'm teaching with Altenew. The main people, Walter, Donna, Bridget, and Aditi, they're all teaching pre-recorded sessions using this kit found in Heartfelt Moments Craft Cards for Life Milestones. My goodness, I've been talking for an hour and a half. I can't talk anymore. But if you use this discount code right here, Moments, the early bird discount is you get this for $99 only. So that's the class, my live session, and everything that's included in the kit. So you have to get the class pass and the class kit to qualify for this discount. And today is the last day and possibly the last few hours of this free gift. So since you're already spending over $89, you do get the free bone folder for free. I did test this out in my own cart, and you are able to add both in. Use the Moments discount code, and all of that is in the description box. So let me show the project one more time. This is the project again. Now that it's dry, show you some of the texture that we got on here. And then all I need to do is add it to a folded note card base. And yeah, that finishes this textured card. It really is for anybody that you want to give the card to. Masculine themes, feminine themes, I don't really care, but yeah, for those of you who like to think of that. And thank you to all of you who have joined me again for the second week. I do not know if I can do this for a third week. This is so nerve-wracking. This is a lot of people to talk to, and it's just so fun to interact. But man, people who do this weekly or on the daily basis, I do not know how they do it. I have to talk all day at work, and then I have to talk again here. It's just 3 weeks in a row. I might just need a little rest maybe, but we'll see. I'll announce it earlier on Instagram, but you'll see the little thumbnail come up on my channel if I do. Turn on the notifications if you haven't. I think a lot of you who have turned on notifications did see that I was coming on live, so I really appreciate that, because after working out all of the kinks last week, I'm hoping to present a lot better content to you now that I've practiced this a few times. So let me see. Thank you, Kathy, for telling me your vellum cardstock. What else do we got? And I don't really like to heat emboss on my vellum either. Like, I know a lot of people use like a embossing powder on their vellum and then cut it out or whatever. I like to use it as like a more textural piece, like a semi-transparent element, so something that would go behind the sentiment of this. Let me show you what I mean. Like this piece, that offset piece that goes around the sentiment, like that. So that's what I would use vellum for. So just to give you an idea. I wish my passport had that many visas. That's right, because that's expensive. Thank you, Carol, for signing up for Heartfelt Moments. So I'll see you during the live session. It should also be recorded if you're not able to catch me on the day that I go live. I really think it's Friday, September 19th, but I don't want to lie. That should be announced in the class when that goes live on September 15th. Which glue did I use? It's this one. I have a whole pack of this Tombow Mono liquid adhesive. It's the only thing I've used for ever. Like, because I think I bought a 20 pack or whatever bulk buy of this, and I've used 4 of them. So I've still got a long way to go. This is the only thing I use. Oops. But yeah, I think I have answered everything. If I didn't, I'm on Instagram. If not, I've also got my blog linked in the description. So reach out to me on the forum if you have anything else pressing. You can also see other inspiration from the August release in there if you want to check that out as well. But otherwise, I will give you all back the rest of your evening for all of you that are joining me in the States. For those of you who are joining me overseas, I'm so grateful for you all for tuning in. It's nice to have a nice, diverse audience. Of course, I always advocate for that, especially as a male crafter in the industry. So, yes. Okay. Anyway, have a good night, y'all. Thank you for tuning into this card. I'll post this card on my Instagram tomorrow. I don't feel like doing it tonight. I'm ready for bed. So, thank you for tuning in. I'll announce another live soon, and if you're on Instagram, let me know what you want to see. So, yeah. Good night, y'all.